is the third Saturday in October rivalry, ladies and gentlemen. You know what this means. We got Bama and Tennessee this weekend, Saturday, inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, 8 p.m. Central Time kickoff, first night game of the season. I know you guys very excited about that. But for right now, you're locked and loaded. Brand new slate of material, new energy, fresh heat on the hottest form, best form of Alabama football, news, notes, and information in the streets. This right here, which just in my own words, the podcast with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. And I gotta say this, people, if you have been enjoying what's been going on at TDA, if you are rocking with this show, I encourage you to give it a like on YouTube. Hit us with that thumbs up, like the show, subscribe, so that we can continue to give you the best information on your Crimson Tide to be your number one source, your number one stop shop on all things Bama football. Want to try to get this show right here up to 100 likes. As always, the show is sponsored by WhitwillSports.com. Title Towel, this being the rally towel with benefits for the avid Alabama sports fan. Only $9.99. You can't beat that with a stick, and it lasts a lifetime. So people, you got pride and purpose for Bama. You ain't afraid to twirl that towel for Nick Saban. Show that support while you twirl Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. You go to WhitwillSports.com, get you a couple of those towels today. Before we preview Alabama, Tennessee, Jeremy Pruitt, Nick Saban, the whole third Saturday in October rivalry, gotta give you my update on the Heisman in terms of week 6. Last week, it was crazy. You had Will Muschamp jumping up and down. South Carolina took out Georgia. You had the Red River shootout between Oklahoma and Texas. Florida and LSU played in Tiger Stadium, just a lot of big-time matchups. But in this new Heisman update, courtesy of yours truly, Touchdown Alabama magazine, we got a new face that has cracked into the top 5, and there was also some shuffling being done in the top 5. So without further ado, here is the new update, the new rankings, 1 through 5 in terms of the Heisman. So, number one front runner for me is Joe Burrow, quarterback of the Louisiana State University, the LSU Tigers. Joe Burrow, this offense of LSU, legit, the real deal under head coach Ed Orgeron. Now, defensively, there's still some things to work on. There's still some improvements to be made, but this offense is nothing to sneeze about. And Burrow against the Florida Gators. This is a defense under coordinator Todd Grantham that boasts the likes of Jabari Zuniga, Jonathan Grenard, Jeremiah Moon, David Reese, C.J. Henderson, basically a whole bunch of guys that will play in the NFL on Sundays. This is a Gators defense that is 10th in scoring defense, giving up 14.10 points per game. They're 20th in total defense, giving up 309.9 yards per contest. But for Joe Burrow, that didn't even matter. He completed 21 of 24 pass attempts for 293 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, protected the football. He positioned 2 wide receivers, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, to have 100-plus yards receiving each. The Tigers getting a 42-28 win through 6 games. Burrow, 25 touchdown passes, just 3 interceptions. And this sets up the matchup between he and Tua Tagovailoa on November 9th, Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's going to be very interesting. Number 1, Joe Burrow. Moving on down to number 2, gotta continue with the boy Jalen Hurts out of Oklahoma. Despite the fact that not his best performance in the Red River shootout, gotta give it to him because the loser of this game, you gotta think out of the college football playoff, the loser of this game between he and Sam Ehlinger out of the Heisman Trophy conversation. Jalen Hurts got the win here. Completed 16 of 28 passes for 235 yards, 3 touchdowns, just 1 pick. On the ground, 17 carries, a $131, 1 touchdown, averaged 7.7 yards per rush. Overall, 4 touchdowns, despite the fact he had 1 interception and lost a fumble. Way more positive than negative. Oklahoma getting the 34-27 win over Texas, and Jalen Hurts through 6 games, 25 total scores, just 3 picks. So Hurts number 2. Moving on down to number 3, where we do pick up Tua Tagovailoa of the University of Alabama, Crimson Tide. And despite the fact that he now stands alone in the record books for career touchdown passes with 81, not the best performance from Tua. He misfired on 11 passes. 21 of 34 passes completed for 293 yards, 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. He and Jerry Jeudy did not click the way they normally clicked against Texas A&M. Both of those guys kind of off in their connection. But even with him not having his best game, Tagovailoa still finds a way. 4 touchdown passes, leading this group to a 47-28 win over the Aggies. And on top of that, Tua this season through 6 games, 27 touchdown passes, just the 1 interception. But once again, matchup, November 9th, Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, he's got a chance to snatch that number 1 spot back coming up really, really soon here. But for right now, he's number 3. Moving down to my 4th guy in the top 5 of this Heisman front-running list. A running back has finally jumped in here, and it's about time. We look at Jonathan Taylor, the heart and soul of the Wisconsin Badgers in the Big Ten. Any other year, he would be the number 1 guy. But because we have so many quarterbacks, he's clawing, fighting his way to get some recognition. Jonathan Taylor coming off 2 consecutive 1,000-yard rushing campaigns in 2017 and 2018, and a guy that against Michigan State in a 38-0 beatdown of the Spartans by the Badgers. Taylor 102 yards from scrimmage, had 26 carries for 80 yards, 1 touchdown, had 22 yards on the receiving end, and a guy that right now has 825 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns on 129 carries. He's averaging 137.5 yards per game. The guy is an absolute stud, and it's about time he starts to get his respect. So, Jonathan Taylor, number 4 guy on the Heisman update. Number 5 for me, last but not least, because of the fact that Ohio State was on a bye week, we bumped Justin Fields down to number 5. Still having an amazing year, though. Buckeyes undefeated. Justin Fields, 26 touchdown passes to just 26 touchdowns total, on the year. So a good year for Justin Fields. So running back through this again, as we look at the new Heisman updates for Week 6, according to yours truly, of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Number 1, LSU quarterback Joe Burrow doing his thing. He's got an offense that ain't blowing smoke. Number 2, we got Jalen Hurts of the Oklahoma Sooners. Got it done in the Red River matchup. Number 3, Tua Tagovailoa, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Not his best game, still found a way to win. Number 4, Jonathan Taylor of the Wisconsin Badgers. About time that man got his respect. And number 5, Justin Fields of the Ohio State Buckeyes. We go to our first break here on In My Own Words, the podcast. People, don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. Just getting started. As always, you download the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. Take that with you on the go. If you want the best in Crimson Tide information, you can get the app via the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. Check out our podcast options for our audio listeners out there, whether you like Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, doesn't matter. Take it with you on the go. Always be informed on In My Own Words. You also subscribe to tdalabamamag.com for all the latest, and Touchdown Alabama Magazine on YouTube. The site, over 1 million video views and over 5,000 subscribers strong. We appreciate you, the fans, for always continuing to help us out. Upon our return, we sit down with a good friend of mine, Trey Wallace, who covers the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll preview Alabama, Tennessee with Trey on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're listening to In My Own Words. What's up, college football fans? You can catch the show every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Subscribe to get all the news, notes, and information covering your Alabama Crimson Tide.